So, just very quickly who I am, for those of you who don't know me. I'm Senior Manager at Deloitte, and I am responsible for basically growing our footprint in the Stellenbosch area, positioning through brand and targeting clients and growing our share within clients. I've had a number of different roles within Deloitte, and each time I enter a new role I have to reposition myself, rebrand myself. So I think I've got a fair amount of entrepreneurial instinct in me, and I think when I grow up one day I probably will be an entrepreneur. So I definitely can relate to where you guys are at. And I'm also studying part-time. I'm doing my master's at USB, and between an incredibly busy job, I was just saying earlier, we've been going up until 3 in the morning this past week, and between school and doing things like this, I'm really tired. So I hope you guys can have some good energy to prop me up as we go through this. And if at any point you've got questions or you want to stop me, it's relaxed. So, okay, so before we start, why are you guys here?
I'm here to find out the definition of a social business.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I'm here to sort of find out what change we can make.
Okay. Anything else? No one's here to skip lectures. Because I might rather be here than another meeting I'm supposed to be in. Okay, so as we go along, if I'm not answering your questions, please do ask so that you do get what it is that you need to get out of today. So the challenge, as JD mentioned earlier, is to come up with a social change enterprise which is going to create a positive and sustainable change within the vulnerable communities around Stellenbosch. So, social change enterprise, it's not a not-for-profit. We're looking for ideas where money can be made and can then be reinvested back into the business so that the impact can be sustainable and ongoing. Obviously a positive impact, so integrity is core, and it's something which we can, certainly in the initial phases, roll out within the communities around Stellenbosch. So, as the saying goes, charity begins at home, so let's focus on areas in and around Stellenbosch. So what? Why are we doing this? Why does Deloitte do this? Why are we doing this challenge when we did business consulting and auditing and tax and that kind of thing? The paragraph on the screen behind me is what we refer to as the Deloitte story. It's really what we feel is the fabric of our brand and our culture. So it has a lot of the usual stuff around value, progress, innovation, all those good things. But at the end of the day, if we don't have a community to serve, then we don't have a reason for being. So that's why we focus on initiatives like this. These are some of the drivers which we focus on in the areas that we look at from a social change perspective within Deloitte. So we've got a program which I started when I started working in this role, and it's around how do we make an impact? What are the areas we need to focus on? So leadership's important, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Integrity, like I said, is important. Collaboration. So when we move on a bit further, I'll talk about some of the projects we're involved in. There's not one project that we're working on where that's the only thing that we do. We're always looking for opportunities. How can we connect the dots? How can we involve more people? The more people and energy and passion we have, the more successful the project's going to be and the bigger the outcome. So entrepreneurship, hope, collaboration, leadership, network skills, innovation, those are some of the things we try to achieve and some of the things which we believe we have and we try to leverage to make a change, ultimately in creating a stronger society. So these are some of the projects that we are involved in terms of our program for social change. I think if you don't know about it, then you may be more tired than I am today. But that's our investment and our focus on entrepreneurship. it's not new that jobs are scarce, and we have vast talent within this country. And if people are just given the skills and the support and encouragement, I think we can really become leaders in entrepreneurship. And I mean, JD, I don't know if you agree, but if we can make Stellenbosch the entrepreneurship hub of South Africa, then that's would be a pretty awesome thing. And entrepreneurship's a hard one because you have good ideas and you have lots of ideas, but what do you do with it from there? And that's why we see the value in our partnership with Launcher, because it's helping people across every step in the value chain until they can go out and say, you're right, I'm going to found this business and we make a success of it. Stellenbosch Outdoor Sculpture Trust. Does anyone know of the trust? Anyone seen the benches around town? Yeah? Yeah. So the trust is responsible for doing the outdoor public arts exhibitions in town every year. This is the third year. The name of this year's exhibition is called Concert. And it's around creating a space for people from anywhere, from any background, to have access to and to interact with art. Art has traditionally been quite an elitist area, and this is just a way of giving everyone access. So we've got some really world-renowned South African artists as well as emerging artists participating in the exhibition. And I don't know if you've seen on Deloitte, there's a big circular structure with a swing which lights up when you swing on it. That's an installation which we commissioned. Just another way of getting involved and becoming part of the community. Kickstart is the educational outreach program for the trust, and we've sponsored that since its inception. And it's primarily focusing on initiatives which convince kids who are not strong in subjects like maths and science to stay in school. Because often kids from these more vulnerable communities, if they're not strong in those subjects, they believe that it's better to perhaps leave school and start earning a living so they can contribute to the family income. And through Kickstart, we're trying to tell them there are lots of other opportunities. And so we expose them to a number of different art media and start connecting them. They also go through a bursary program. Stellenbosch 2.0 is still very much in its concept stage. The big focus there is on collaboration. It's something which I have pitched to the mayor, who's very excited about it. And the idea is to connect as many social enterprises as possible, to bring them together, to leverage their collective thinking, to get them to start working together and collaborating. Because, I mean, you know, if you are starting a business, whether it's not-for-profit or whether it is an income-generating business, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be a jack of all trades. And if you're looking at your finances, then you're not focusing on the core of your business. And if you're not looking at your finances, then that creates a whole different problem. So the idea is to see how we can bring people together, how we can leverage each other, leverage services. Maybe there's a shared service opportunity. So there is one centre which provides finance and admin type support, and there's some sort of fee, so we're not duplicating costs within each of the individual enterprises, and just getting those brains into the same room and saying, well, if we put our heads together, can't we come up with something bigger, something better? So that's also a very exciting project, and we're looking to move sort of into the next phase within the next 3 or 4 weeks, so it's exciting times. So, what's the big deal about all the social change stuff? I think a lot of the stuff that I said might have come across as, well, it's marketing talk, it's PR, they have to do that, they post scorecard. So some of those things are true, I mean, call a spade a spade. But we do feel strongly about the community we're in, so we do want to make a difference. But there are other upsides to doing something like this. So whether you decide to focus your business or position your business as a social enterprise, or whether you are doing an income generating business, consider building an aspect of social change into it. On the Kickstart project alone, so we're in our second year now. There are 2 phases. We've just come out of the first phase for this year. In PR alone, I have about 120% return on investment already. So by the end of the year, in PR alone, because it's an initiative, people can see it is authentic. It isn't just a publicity exercise. It's making a difference. It's involving, and we've got about volunteers from about 40 different, they're not, it's between individuals and organizations. So we're doing something really good. We're making an impact, but I've already recovered all my costs just in the coverage that I have generated. Plus, I'm building the Deloitte brand even further through that, and it's online, national TV, national radio, across all the channels. And then, do any of you know Michael Porter? Know of Michael Porter? So Michael Porter is, do you know the 5 forces of competitor? Yeah? So Michael Porter came up with that concept. So, if you want to be active in a business, what are your competitors doing, what are your customers doing, etc., etc. He's moved on now, so he's not discarded that thinking, obviously, but he's now saying that by making a commitment and an impact in your community, it's not only doing benefiting the community, but it is in the long term going to create economic value for your business. And that was out of an article that he did for Harvard Business Review. You'll find many other articles about the economic value in the long term about investing in social change. So lots of reasons to do stuff like this. What does it take? And we had, JD, about 12 or 15 entries that we looked at on the shortlist last time around?
Yeah, it was 14.
14. And in the pitching den we had not...
In total?
Yeah.
We had about 54 in terms of the whole pitching game.
And in terms of the social change challenge?
I think. I can't remember at the top of my head.
It was probably about 5, it was a handful or so.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah. So the point is there were a lot of brilliant ideas, but what were they going to do with them? Or were they trying to fix a problem which didn't exist, or answer a question which no one was asking? If you're going to get involved in something related to social change, you have to be passionate about it. There's no other way. If you're not, then don't even consider it. So, what do you do on the weekend? What do you do?
Well, I work.
What do you do for fun?
Oh, for fun, I just try and chill with friends.
Yeah. And anything else? Talents or interests or?
Well, interests. I'm more focused on music.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, well, back in the day when I still had time, I used to like playing on the guitar, and other than that, I'm more into like computer-based stuff. So my computer and like see what I can do with it, and how I can connect with other people with it, things like that.
Okay. And if you could design your dream job, what would it be? What would you do?
Oh, well, my dream job would involve me designing things and being able to touch many people's lives.
Okay. So designing, you said a lot of things. You spoke about music, you spoke about chilling with friends, designing things. Those are all things that you could consider creating some sort of social enterprise out of. Designing things, touching many people. There's Peter Shrimpton, he's opening, keep wanting to say launch that, hub space at the Kamandi corridor. He's got a number of different social businesses, but what you've just said now, touching people, connecting people, that's what he does. He spots a need, sorry, he spots a need and starts designing solutions. So an example, I think it's there's sunfish, which is in absolute proliferation in this country, but no one eats it because it's very muddy and it's got a bad stigma attached to it. So what Pete does is he puts them in these tanks and filters fresh water throughout it, and they're there for whatever period of time they need to be, and it cleans out their system, and then he gives people opportunity to sell this into various communities. It's a very tasty fish once it's been cleaned out properly, and it costs almost nothing because no one wants it. You know, he's building houses out of sandbags. So design is a powerful thing. Chilling with your friends. I mean, just think about the benefit that you get out of spending time with your mates and how enriching and fulfilling that is. We had one of the ideas in the last competition was around creating, I forget what it's called, but circles where people could share their stories so that they could remember their heritage. So whatever you're passionate about, think about how you could apply that in a social change type of environment. Obviously, where you're strong, that's where you're going to have the biggest impact. So if you're strong on biology, Ryan, then last year we had the trees.
Yeah,
Mirroring the trees, you know, as a business. So where are your strengths, where are your passions, you can make magic happen. Don't keep it to yourself. That's something that a lot of guys did last time around. They had an idea and they were afraid that it might get stolen. Talk to as many people about it as what you can. Get their ideas, get their input. Ask them if they want to join forces with you. You know, you're not going to have the full set of strengths that you need, so divide and conquer. Important, is there a need? I mentioned it earlier. You know, if there isn't a need, then you're going to spend a lot of time developing something which could be awesome and go nowhere, or not get the funding that you want to get to be able to take it to the next step. If you can't articulate your need, then you need to just keep going back to the drawing board. And that's when it also helps to just talk to people. If I say social enterprise to you, what do you understand? Perspectives. So we talked about understanding the needs, but you need to understand it from the perspective of the person that it's going to benefit, not from your perspective. Because they could be two completely different things. Your solution's got to be fit for purpose. So if you are, well, just an example, the winner of our Deloitte social challenge last time was VJ Mito, and his product was
Shakti energy.
yeah, but it could basically, it was generating alternative power. So you had a bench and you would pedal and the kinetic energy would then charge batteries or lights, whatever the case may be. And he was very impressive, his product was very impressive. In fact, he won 2 prizes, so to speak. But he's had to go back to the drawing board. Once he went into the market and got to understand it a bit better, he realized that his design, he didn't have to throw it all out, but he needed to make changes so that it can actually be practical in the marketplace. A lot of the social enterprises that I see, the reason that they are successful is because they are creating, or and one of the outputs of the business is micro entrepreneurs. So you might have your idea, so it's VJ's energy generation, so safe lighting. But he's not now building up a workforce and infrastructure and all sorts so that he can go out and sell the energy. He goes into communities and he identifies people who are not employed and who need to make some income. And so you create a closed loop where you're so I mean VJ's product is got a decent carbon footprint. He is helping communities, he's creating safer access to power, but he's also creating opportunity for people within those communities to generate income. And there are many examples like that, just in Stellenbosch alone. And I think what I've just been talking about now leads quite nicely into the next point, and that's around empowering people. So it's not about giving people a handout because that's not sustainable. It's about giving them the opportunity, the knowledge, the skills, the experience to be able to continue generating their own income and then to share their knowledge and skills and experience with someone else. So it just snowballs, and that's how we can get to something which is sustainable. And the last 2 points, that's all about you guys. You have to be assertive. You have to be resilient. You're going to hear no more than you've ever heard in your entire life before. But you've got to keep going. If it's something that you're passionate about and you really truly believe you can do it because you've got the core strengths and you've surrounded yourself with the right people, then you can make it happen. You just need to find the right people to connect with. And it's trial and error. There's no magic recipe. There's some guidelines that you can follow, but you have to be resilient and you have to just keep going and just put yourselves out there. You've got nothing to lose. I promise you, after someone has said no to you for the 10th time, it won't hurt as much. Although I must say, the proposal I was working on this week, if that's a no, it's going to hurt a lot. But I have to keep going, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you. Not sure that I've answered your questions yet, so you need to tell me now. Do you have a better understanding what a social enterprise is? And social change? Are there any other questions or thoughts or ideas? Something which you've had in the back of your head?
Maybe I just want to know. I see you get the prize money and that kind of thing, and mentorship from Launch Lab. But does Deloitte have any more do they still help you out with things like advertising or getting your name out there with this new company, or do they just give you the money and go?
So primarily, your relationship is with Launch Lab
Yeah.
and our relationship. So we work vicariously through Launch Lab. If there are opportunities, we're always keen to explore. Like I said before, I'm always looking at ways to connect dots. When we were doing the shortlisting process last year, it was around, okay, so that's a good idea, but hey, this idea was these two could work together. And so it's bringing people together, making strong connections. We wouldn't help with something directly, such as advertising. We will become more involved from a coaching, mentoring perspective. But have the conversation with us. We're happy to have those conversations. And we might not be able to do something directly, but we might very well know someone who would be interested in working on it. Anything else? Yeah.
I've just got a question. Okay, from what you just described earlier, you said one of the things that we need to be focusing on is articulating the idea.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sort of at the stage where you haven't necessarily completely or developed a prototype for the idea, does that in essence disqualify you from the challenge?
Right. Disqualify, no, but it's not putting you in the best position for winning the challenge. And for any of the categories, right, JD? So the types of things that we look for are, do you have some sort of proof of concept? Or do you have any theoretical or research-based underpinnings which is going to support the fact that this is going to be a success? If you can't articulate your idea properly, we don't know how to assess it. So that's why I say the list on, in terms of what are the needs, what perspective, who's the team that's going to help you deliver against this. If you're in the first stage, then state what it is that you're wanting to do and achieve, and how you'd use the money to do that, and that will put you in a better position. If you just say this is what I want to do, sort of high level, and you say, well, have you thought about it? Because then what are you going to do with the money you earn? Does that help?
Yes, that helps.
All right, any other questions?
it's just a general question. Will we find out, I heard about the competition recently and the general criteria, terms and conditions, the categories you mentioned, is that out there or will that be discussed later on? Or has the challenge already started? Is this the start?
JD, why don't you answer that?
I'll answer that. So this is the start of the challenge. So we've got various challenges. We've got 4 challenges in the pitching den, and then we've got one general idea category.
Okay.
So you'll be able to choose which challenge you'd like to enter, or you could enter the general idea.
But the criteria and that, it's on your website, right?
Yeah, it's on the website. So what we are going to score in terms of the winning ideas, and then this semester you're also competing against the various other universities in the Western Cape. So we're collaborating with all the other universities.
Remember we were talking about just being assertive. If you have an idea growing, go and Jane, ask her. And there's nothing, it's not against the rules to get input or guidance. He's got my email, I can drop me a mail. You could try and phone me, but I don't know if you'll get me. But yeah, test things out. Are you guys going to enter?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Cool.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry.
Actually, quick question, maybe
Yes.
not one, because we won the last
I don't
one.
know if that's on.
Yeah, it's up.
It's for the video.
Okay, so we won the last vision then, or we won the 5. What minimizes our chances if we can re-enter, either with the same idea or with a new idea? Is there anything like any rules like that?
So new idea, there's nothing stopping you. Are you submitting the same idea, JD?
You can't win with the same idea twice.
If you win, can you put the money from the new idea to us?
No way.
We've got
Because 10K doesn't go far. Like,
Yeah, we understand that, but you'll only be able to win once with one idea.
but the money that you win, can you just be like, okay, let's go into the whole idea? That one was stronger.
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, if you don't ask, you don't get, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Cool.
Oh, well, thanks. Oh, yes.
So in the event of winning, do you prescribe how the winner is supposed to spend the money?
So part of the process is you will, as part of one of the entry phases, they'll have to complete a business model canvas, right, JD? And your business model canvas is going to help you describe to us what the opportunity, what the idea is, and what your next steps are, and what you're going to use the money for. So that's, to a large extent, you need to tell us how you're going to use the money. But things change all the time. It's a process, it's fluid. We're working with ideas, so would that be a fair assessment, JD?
Yeah, that's fair. And in addition to that, we'll also assign you a mentor if you're a winning candidate, and that mentor will sign off how you spend the money. So as long as the seed funding is spent towards developing the idea, then that's fine. We are very open for whatever the money is going towards, as long as it's actually developing the idea and signed off by the mentor.
But go onto Launch Lab's YouTube channel, have a look at the videos of the winning ideas. It's going to give you some insight into what worked, why. Chat to the guys, what's the experience been, what was the takeout. Have a look at some Dragon's Den video clips. And just when you watch these things, listen to what the investors are saying. Because they say the same thing all the time. I don't know what you're trying to sell me. I don't know how I'm going to get my money back. Yeah. Okay, I think we need to.
Awesome.
So thanks again, and I look forward to all of your entries and best of luck.
All right, cool. Thanks, Cindy.